Hello, everybody. We are so excited to be back with you. Welcome to episode 19 of the Brandy and Rena show. It's been a hot minute, but we've been on sabbatical and we are excited to be back.
We're back.
A crazy ass Mercury retrograde, which I'm like feeling all over. I've had some technical issues in the past couple days with my computer, had to yell at it a little bit and then it works. I don't know.
There's a shadow period, they say, like Mercury goes direct, but then it's about another 3 weeks before things just function fully.
And I'm feeling that 3 weeks really hard this week. I don't know. Apparently I had some driver updates or something on my computer that, you know, when you go do your computer updates, these had to be done separately from the computer updates. And they totally like stopped my computer one day.
Oh my.
And then we have 5G service where I live, which is supposed to be top notch, really fast, blah, blah, blah. But it seems to kind of kick in and out when it wants to. So I don't know. It's all weird. I don't know.
That is weird. Sorry. This got a little more smoky than I think that happens every time.
Me too.
I love powdered incense because this is a kind of smoke you get off of it.
Definitely. I'm just burning some sage here. So, I love the smell of sage, especially when I wash my hair and then you go smudge right away and then your hair smells like sage. I love that.
I just did that. I just washed my hair. It's going to smell like incense for about 4 days now. So,
right. Exactly.
And my poor cats smell like incense, you know. I leave the door open so they can escape, but apparently they like to be around it. So I don't know.
Right. Definitely. So guys, this week we are talking about, I believe the title Brandy tagged this was NASA's approach to astrology.
But you know, NASA started this. Okay, they started it, but they did come back last July, I believe, like years later and say, no, we weren't trying to rewrite astrology. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I've recently just heard about this. And by recent, I mean, I want to say the past year and a half. So I haven't even been on the train for the whole, 5-6 years?
I don't even know. It feels like forever because I started getting messages like, what is my zodiac sign? I heard it changed. And I'm like, no, zodiac signs did not change.
Yeah. And what is this planet's name? Is it Ophiuchus or something?
It's a constellation, but
sorry.
That's okay. And it's always been there. And astrologers have always known about it, but there's this very fine-tuned system in astrology. I mean, it's been around since ancient times, okay? I'm a Hellenistic astrologer. What I study dates back to, I don't know, 3000 BC. I don't know, but I don't know the full history, but for thousands of years. Okay.
Right. And let's take this further and say that way back when this work was happening in the early times, doctors used astrology in their practice to kind of help hone in on what was happening with the body, what organs were affected, all of these things. So this is a very it's very scientific. And
it is. There's medical astrology, there's mundane astrology, where politicians, a lot of politicians still use it.
Interesting.
Nancy Reagan was huge.
Sure. I did hear about that. Yes.
Yeah. Hitler used astrologers, but he also put a lot of them in concentration camps because he didn't want other people to have access to it. So,
oh my God,
that's a whole other show story, terrible. But yeah, so there's all sorts of fields of astrology. Back in the day, in ancient times, astronomers and astrologers were the same thing. It got separated out over time.
I get it, I don't know really why they've ever separated. Right?
Well,
Because typically in all of our work, whether you are, let's say you're an engineer or whatever, everything has deeper meaning, right? So I don't know.
I think it's just astrology sort of disappeared for a long time, especially in the Western part of the world. So Western wise, it just came back, what, in the 1930s, I want to say, when newspaper horoscopes started popping up, and then in the 60s, it really like got reinvented here. So maybe it was just having to do with it shutting down.
Yeah.
I don't know. In certain parts of the world.
Probably very taboo. I mean, really, we're very fortunate to be doing the work that we do in this time that we are doing it.
Very much. I still get hate mail. I still get what I call nasty grams.
I have not, and none of you better, because
well, I'll tell you where mine come from. So, and I'm wearing the shirt. I run this fan group. I'm a rock and roll. I'm a music person. So I have my other hobbies on social media as well. And some of it has come from overlapping a little bit to other groups. And
really?
Yeah.
That is crazy. But you know what, Brandy, you're not the only one. And I don't think it was an astrologer. It was, I believe, another tarot reader who had very recently posted something about some hate mail they were receiving. And okay, and let's talk about this. I was at a vendor event a couple weeks ago, and somebody walked up to my table first thing in the morning and was like, nope, I don't believe in this. And I said, well, lots of people do. So
yeah. Good for you. It's okay. I'm not trying to convert everybody. Like,
no.
I do overshare. I will admit. I'll be like, hey, let me give you some fun astrology information about yourself and why this week was shitty. But I'm not like necessarily trying to convert people.
Exactly. Like, we're here for the people who are called to work with us. So I don't understand the hate mail thing. It makes me sad. It's very like, how would you feel if we came to your job? You know, like, seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's one of those things. It's okay though. Like, I've been doing this 7 years. My skin is thickening here. So I'm like, all right, another day, another nasty gram, moving on.
Definitely. I don't know. That's crazy. What the heck? All right. So back to this NASA thing that's happening. What is happening with this? So apparently there are, according to NASA, there are 13 zodiac signs instead of the 12. Now, what does this do for other zodiac signs?
So essentially, and I do, okay, we won't get into NASA here. I mean, I love how they tried to backtrack, but yet they released this calendar of, oh, if this is your birthday, this is where it falls. Like, originally this kind of came out. So for some people, it was changing their zodiac sign. And I got to admit, I did not play with this because I just knew how this, I study astrology. These books have been read in the background. Okay. So like, I know my stuff a little bit, but basically I think it backtracked like 3 weeks or so. So someone like me, who's very Gemini, I'm born under the Gemini sun, Gemini moon, Gemini Mercury. Okay. It would have put me as a Taurus sun. Now, there are some people who looked at this and said, oh yeah, that really fits me. But let me tell you why that might happen, because inner planets such as Mercury, Venus, these hang around close to the sun. So these, a lot of times, like, let's just take Leo, for example. If you're born under the Leo sun, chances are you could have Mercury in either Cancer, Leo, or Virgo.
Sure.
So a lot of Leos will have Mercury in Cancer because it's so close, right? Or Venus or something like this. So they'll read about this, like the zodiac signs, and be like, oh yeah, that fits me. Well, maybe it fits Mercury or some other planet. There's something bringing that energy in.
Right.
Not necessarily, making sense for your sun sign, I should say, because your sun sign is kind of like the light you put out in this world. It's your personality, it's your willpower, it's your ego, it's an outside purpose.
Right.
If that makes sense.
So maybe we should talk about why this whole topic came up, because it's really interesting, and even that you pulled in the Leo thing. So I have a friend who is very much a Leo. This woman, she was a cosmetologist. She taught people how to cut hair. She worked at, a college where they would, cosmetology college, hair cutting college, whatever. I'm sorry, guys, don't kill me, okay? I'm not trying to
appearance, right? Or helping people with appearance.
Right. She's gorgeous. Yeah. She is like 85 years old. You would never know it. This woman is absolutely amazing. She always has her makeup done. She's always wearing beautiful clothing and jewelry. I mean, jewelry that you would totally look at her and say, oh my God, this woman is a queen. She is just gorgeous. She is all Leo. So she had an astrology reading by somebody who's local to me. I have no idea who this person is, but they had asked me if I had known who this woman was, and I was like, no. And then the next week I saw her, she brings me her astrology chart that this woman had done for her. And here, instead of a Leo, she's a Cancer. And I was like, absolutely no. Okay. Like, I get the vibrant, radiant quality, but that's about it, because when I look at this woman, she is all Leo. So
Leo can be visible, or there's very recognizable traits, I would say.
Yes. Yes. And she's a leader. She's a businesswoman. She is totally all out there, and she is going strong, full of life and vitality. So
she resonated with something about the Cancer description. So my guess is she would either have Mercury, Venus, maybe a rising, maybe a moon.
I don't know that she did resonate with it, because she brought me the paperwork and she was like, can you believe I'm a Cancer? And I was like,
oh, I thought you were saying, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying.
No, the astrologer told her she was a Cancer. And I was like, oh, hell no, you aren't. This woman you off.
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's been hard, because ever since this information, I mean, I still, up to maybe 3 weeks ago, have gotten a message about this. And some people are, I don't want to say freaking out, but oh my God, how I've always resonated with this sign. Now that it's changed, I don't know what to think. And it's no, it's okay. It did not change. But a lot of us have our identity, especially if we study astrology and believe in it and use it.
Yeah.
You put our identity in that sun sign. Sun sign is identity. Okay. So it's it's made some people stress out, and I tell them, don't stress. You are still your original sun sign. And
That's right. I remember looking at the information when this person had brought me her birth chart and was telling me she was a Cancer. And I was like, all right, because I'm going to look this up, because if I'm not a Taurus, I'm going to panic, because I am so Taurus. It is ridiculous. There's no way I'm an Aries. And the cutoff,
no way. Rena,
the cutoff for this was literally May 13th, which is my birthday. And I was like, yeah, that's right.
Now, see, it put me as a Taurus, but I'm a Taurus rising. So I'm like, but I'm very Gemini. If I was to tell someone I wasn't a Gemini, they'd be like, go look at your chart again. We know you are, because I don't shut up, and I'm very opinionated, and I love communication, so I don't know. And plus, apparently the story was I was supposed to be born a few days earlier in Taurus season, and I decided to arrive late in the Gemini season. So I'm like, no, I came here to be a Gemini, and I am.
I waited my turn.
Yes, exactly. This was by design.
Just think, Brandy, you could have been a cusp baby.
Brandy's already on a tangent about 13. We want to go into the cusp tangent too.
That was a joke.
I know, Rena knows how to round me up. So let's talk about cusps. And let's talk about astrology as a language. Okay, so there are all forms of astrology. There's Western, there's Eastern, there's different house systems. I do a whole sign house because I love Hellenistic astrology.
Right. And then you break it down into pieces like Vedic astrology. And
And there's not a right or wrong. I feel like they're all, and I think Stephen Forrest said this.
There is a wrong. There is a wrong. And it's this Ophiuchus constellation.
That is wrong. There's no 13 astrology signs. I just meant astrological systems. Theory. They're different languages. 13 is wrong. But, so maybe someone who does cusps, maybe that's their language. I don't do cusps.
Sure.
And so in my readings, I'm like, look, there is a cutoff point. There is a reason why a sign at 29 degrees is so intense and why a sign at 0 degrees is so fresh.
Sure.
So to me, it's one or the other. Like, even if you were born the very last day of Taurus season, you're going to be very Taurus.
Right.
Yes. And if you're born day 1 of Gemini season, you're going to be very Gemini.
Sure. Makes sense.
I don't know. Sorry. I had to put my...
No, it does. It makes perfect sense to me. It does.
Mm-hmm. But that's my language I speak. That's the astrology I study. And
did you know there's color astrology, Brandy?
Color astrology? Oh, you mean like colors associated with the signs, or I don't know.
Like there are birth charts you can do that associate with color.
I had no idea. Oh, no, I did not know that.
I'm working on looking into this because of my work that I do is all colors. And when I stumbled, there's not a lot of information out there. It is.
Does this have to do with the degrees of the colors?
No, This is like Native American astrology.
Sorry, allergies, burning incense.
So
this is interesting. I want to hear more about this.
I don't, like I said, I'm looking into it. So I will bring information back for you, but this is definitely, I'm hoping as I look into it, it becomes a really cool area of study because I would love to associate your big 3 with some amazing colors for you to work with. You know what I mean? So
sign me up for that reading.
I'm looking into this because I'm really fascinated.
That's interesting.
Yes.
And I can see how that would make sense because like we have palmistry, we have astrology, and a lot of times when I'm reading a palm, I can get not the exact same information from astrology, but I can see the same personality traits.
Right.
And so that would make sense how there's different oracles, if you will.
Yes.
To study.
Yes.
Human design, right?
Yes. Yeah. Fascinating. Like I said, if you Google it, it's very hard to like even find any information. I stumbled across it in a couple of my books and I was like, why haven't I seen this before?
Yeah.
Why has this just now come to my attention? Yeah. And I find it interesting because I'm working on doing a lot of the yin yang keys, like the key of balance and passion. So there's 2 color frequencies that go into that in order to connect you with specific aspects. So that's kind of where this is coming in as I'm diving deeper into my work.
This is cool. I'm excited.
It's crazy.
I'm going to check back with you on this.
Yeah, you do that.
I want to hear more. I'm intrigued.
Yes, definitely. It's crazy.
So there's not a 13th sign. Your zodiac sign did not change. Started with NASA. Apparently they ended it and said, no, we didn't say that. But now I have no problem with NASA. I love space. I love space exploration. But we all got our fields of expertise. Yes.
So they've recanted this info? No, they haven't.
Apparently, I saw an article on CNN back from Yeah, I know. It was CNN. But
That's
it was back from. No, I like CNN. I just didn't want to like start any political debates here. But it was back from, I believe, July 17th, I think.
Okay. So July 17th. What is that?
Cancer season.
That is Cancer season? Yes, because then it goes into Leo, which Cancer season shining the illumination down.
It's moonlight. It's moon energy.
I wonder if the astronomers tapped into this vibe and released it on July whatever,
Like
17th.
subconsciously using that psychic natural energy. That
Exactly.
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Here's where I got upset because so superficial. But like I go to Target, right? And they have these cute little astrology shirts in the girls section. I'm like, yes, juniors. I know I'm like way too old to be wearing juniors, but I go there and I'm like, I want this shirt. And I look at it and there's that 13th Zodiac sign on it. Again, at Target, I'm in the active wear section trying to get some capris to go work out in. And it has constellations on it. And I'm like, oh, these are perfect. And there's that damn 13th. So that's where I got upset too. Because I'm like, all the novelty stuff started including this on here. And I'm like, no. Yes, it's a constellation. No, it's not part of our astrology system.
Yeah. So do you know anything about this constellation? Like,
I don't like what it would mean or.
Yeah.
No, because it's not.
No, because we're not even drawing attention to it. So.
I won't even like entertain it. Well, and here's the thing with astrology, like you're a lifelong student, okay? Like you need several lifetimes to learn everything there is, every system, there's asteroids you can bring in. I don't even. My study is in like the psychology of astrology. I love horary. I love, criminal, all this stuff. So I have my own I just don't have enough hours in the day to completely master, and I want to. So I don't know where I'd get the time to study the fictitious system. It is a constellation, and I'm
going to look it up. You keep talking. I'm going to look it up and see if I can find anything.
Okay. Go ahead. Now. Yeah, no, I hadn't even.
I don't even know.
I don't even know how I would apply the knowledge. So, and I'm one of these people that even when watching TV, I very rarely watch fiction because I just want to learn about real stuff going on. Not that there's anything wrong with fiction, but.
I don't know, Brandy.
I know. Rena was telling me, why don't you look this up? And I'm like, I'm just defiant.
Okay, so here's just a brief something.
I believe it came after Sag and before Capricorn or somewhere around there.
Oh, I don't even know about that. I was just looking up the meaning of it. So this little blurb from stardate.org.
Okay.
So it says in ancient Greece, and I'm terrible. I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to butcher it. Ophiuchus.
I think yeah, I won't even try.
Ophiuchus or something? I don't know. Represented by Asclepius. I'm terrible. Oh my God.
Just keep going. You got this.
The god of medicine and the son of the god Apollo. Okay. In the version of the story, Asclepius killed a snake with his staff, but another snake dropped some herbs on the dead one, bringing it back to life. That's just a little blurb. And I'll post the link to this little blurb in our show description if you guys want to read about it, just in case. So I'm not, I want to give credit where credit's due, even if we don't believe in the 13th Zodiac sign. So
now I'm old school. I admit it. I like to stay with my ancient practices, but
yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'm curious what our viewers think. Do you believe in this? If you've looked into this and you feel it resonated with you, why do you feel like it resonates with you? I just have so many questions.
And
Again,
even though I'm opinionated, I do want to hear what people think about this, or
absolutely.
what your experiences.
And like I said, when I first heard about this, it was just like somebody on Facebook had posted an article about it. And I just kind of was like, what? Things are changing. And I moved on with my life. I didn't even look into it. And then all of a sudden, this amazing woman who's a Leo is telling me she's a Cancer. And I was like, no, this is not true.
I mean, can there be any like more difference between something like Cancer and Leo energy? Now, all signs are different, of course, but like that is drastic difference. We're going from a moon ruled sign to a sun ruled sign, right? Like night and day,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. Yes. And she is everything about a shining star, just total Leo. She's
now, there could be things about a sign that would, I guess, change the appearance, but you're still going to see. I always like to use my son as an example. My son, S-O-N, Ian. He is a Leo, but his sun is in the 8th house. So that Leo expression is sometimes hidden or sometimes just very different, intense. It would be different than like a 10th house Leo sun. So there are things that can kind of change the expression of a sign, but that expression is still there.
Right.
My son is still on stage in a band playing, and gets attention. But yeah, it's just very, there's things that can change it up a little bit.
Right. Right. And all of that would be affected by how the planets are affecting you in your own natal chart as well.
And the placements, yes.
Exactly.
And what's aspecting it, if you didn't know me and you were meeting me at a party, I would actually be in the background, kind of quiet, kind of just observing, which is not very what people would think is Gemini. But I have Saturn that squares all my Gemini planets. So it kind of, it takes a little bit to warm up a little bit. So there's all sorts of things that can change the way the expressions of signs work. And that's why you'll see someone or hear someone say, oh, I'm a Capricorn, but I don't resonate with it. Or, I'm an Aries, but it doesn't make sense for me. Well, there's something going on in the chart with the planets and those signs to make it act a little differently, or maybe make it where you don't see it.
Right. Do you feel like there is an age where, say, your sun sign might pop out a little more, or your moon sign, or does it just really depend on the chart and the person?
And it can depend on all sorts of things. A lot of times, just generally speaking, the sun sign in small children will be very apparent. And then sometimes there's a theory that once you hit about 40, you're kind of taken after the rising sign. But I don't know. It's a really complicated topic because it might be you're getting older and you're taking over the rising sign, because rising sign is first impressions. Well, when you're older, you're thinking about, what does this person think about me? How should I carry myself so that the outside world, which would be that rising sign.
Where do I put my focus and energy into to get to the next level?
Mm-hmm. I think that's why that comes into play. Very small children, though, who before they're learning about other people's judgment or criticism or, their environment, usually express that sun sign very genuinely. I think the moon sign is just always there, because that's your reaction and emotional response. So it can be more controlled over time, maybe with awareness.
Sure. Yeah.
That's generally a pretty, I don't know what I want to say, kind of a consistent thing throughout life.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
no offense to Capricorns. I love my rising and my moon, but there's reasons why I didn't think those pieces of me fit. Other than I'm kind of a workaholic. Like my brain is always on what I'm doing next. What am I blogging about this week? How am I going to prepare for tomorrow? What emails should I be sending? All of these things. So,
Do you know most of my friends have Capricorn moons? I don't know. I just attract Capricorn moon people. Yeah, it is. It is interesting.
That is really interesting. So I had found out something, again, some little meme or something that I just really resonated, that, you know, like these witchy, are you an earth witch? Are you an herb witch? Are you, you know, Capricorns are really drawn to space and planets, right? Which I am. Like that's a big part of my work too. So that kind of really brought it home for me and maybe helped me embrace some of my qualities a little bit more. Don't know why.
No, yeah. I don't know. I think I admire someone who has all that Capricorn energy, because I love how hard you guys work, and you guys are very earthy, right? And
it doesn't feel like hard work until it's like built up to here, and then you've like had enough and you need a freaking day off, and then it's like, oh my God, the world is falling apart and I can't do this anymore. And then we'll sleep.
Yeah, I am a Capricorn midheaven, so I do take work seriously. I have the integrity, but I'm so easily distracted with the Gemini planets. It's hard to stay on task.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But this is great. This is what astrology does. It, you know, if I didn't know my astrology, I would just be frustrated. Like, why do I distract easily? Why do I have to discipline so hard to do what I want to do? And then I look at the astrology chart, and it's not excusing any type of behavior, but it's like, okay, I understand what's going on here. And so knowing that, I know how to work with it more. I'm like, okay, Gemini likes diversity. It likes change. I can't expect myself to hyper focus for 5 hours. You know, I have to be in the moment, or I have to work on it a little bit and then come back. You know, it just shows you where the strengths and weaknesses are and shows you how to work with it.
Right. Right. I was very uncomfortable in my own skin for a very long time. I just really, gosh. And, you know, from like, I swear to God, I'm adopted because I don't fit into this family, to like, who the hell am I and what am I supposed to be? Like all of these things, like having a reading from you kind of helped me understand and be able to put these into perspective and see how I'm supposed to work with these energies a little bit better. So,
well, thank you. And I love that. You know, I've had parents come and get astrology readings about their children, which I do not feel like is a violation, because they're wanting to just understand.
Yep.
The
how
child
to
better
communicate with your child, how to kind of hone in on their special interests, where to give that attention. And yes, I strongly believe that as well.
Where their talents and abilities lie. Like, you know, I've had just one example, you know, someone questioned why the child wasn't more active or athletic. And, you know, we look at the chart and we see the 6th house. I don't know. Just give why. I'm kind of real question, but let's give a fictitious answer to protect privacy. But there's like a 6th house, you know, ruled by Mars. Okay, great. That should be an active person, right? Well, Mars was in a detriment, in a sign that's not very active. So we can see why maybe a kid's more into theater versus sports, or
has a harder start. Yeah. In certain aspects, like
there can be delays, you know, sometimes, not every time, but sometimes a Mercury retrograde can be speech delays.
What does it mean when a baby is born during Mercury retrograde?
It means that when we have Mercury retrograde seasons, these people have an easier time because it's their natural energy. So Mercury retrograde, and of course, they're not lucky because that's only like 3 times out of the year. The rest of the time, they're like, their life is Mercury retrograde.
Oh no,
but they get a break when we're all being hit. But it can mean all sorts of things. It can be actual speech delays. Not every time, but it can be having a theme in life about having to learn to communicate more effectively, or being put in positions to always having to vocally stand up for yourself. Or, I mean, it can go so many different directions depending on the sign, the house placement, how it's aspected.
So let me ask you this question. Have any of your favorite musicians been born in a Mercury retrograde? There was a baby in my life just born in Mercury retrograde, this past Mercury retrograde. So, like, it would be interesting to know some of these things, like, and I'll keep you updated as he grows up. But yeah.
I do have some favorite musicians born in a Mercury retrograde, which I don't want to put their names out because.
Oh.
But yes. They're still alive. I'll put it that way. And
okay, I was gonna say, like, is it John Lennon or what? Why can't we talk about this? But okay.
The ones I can think on top of my head. Now, if there's some whose lives have been well documented and like John Lennon, for example, no longer here on Earth, I'd feel comfortable discussing that. So I'll get a list together. We can like reapproach this.
Okay. And the only reason I ask this, Mercury retrograde deals with communication. Maybe these people are able to communicate through music a little easier than the spoken word, or
definitely,
even authors, being able to write or have different forms of communication.
It's not uncommon to see someone born during Mercury retrograde to be a songwriter or be a writer. That's not necessarily uncommon.
Okay.
But I'll make a list.
Yes.
The ones we can actually talk about here.
Yeah.
And fun fact, it doesn't have to be a musician, just someone in your everyday life. If you know they're born during a Mercury retrograde and you have issues communicating with them or trying to get responses from them, the best time to contact them or talk is during a Mercury retrograde.
So you got 3 or 4 possibly chances a year. So, like, let's think your big holidays, guys. I'm just kidding.
And I fully admit there are some people I purposely contact during a Mercury retrograde because I know their charts and I know they were born under it, and I know I'll get, communication or get the information I need.
Weird. That's crazy. I kind of love it.
Same thing, fun fact, you can do this with a void of course moon as well. If you have someone who tends to be maybe hypersensitive, and I don't mean that as a critical remark, like someone who's just can be emotional or wears their heart on their sleeves, or can be reactive.
Yes.
Communicate with them during a void of course moon. It's a little softer response because the moon is not making any aspects to any planets. So you're not getting that magnification at the moment. It just takes the edge off.
Very, very fascinating. I love it.
I have my techniques, strategies.
Definitely. So you talked about asteroids as well. Now, I work with Chiron. Mm-hmm. Do you work with Chiron in your natal charts or your transit charts, or?
Kind of. They're there on the astrology chart when I pull it or when I cast the chart. And if I see something pretty remarkable about it, I will bring it up. Or if the client has a question maybe about trauma or healing, or certain maybe karmic things growing up, just kind of things like that, I will look at it. Otherwise, if someone's coming in for a general reading, I usually stick with the planets because I'm just trying to give them what they can use. I don't want to overwhelm someone. But if someone's very astrology savvy, or like I said, has a specific question that Chiron can give insight on, yes. So kind of in and out with that one.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's important. It's not that I don't value it. It's just there's, like I said, there's so much. Like if you were to bring in everything, it would just be a lot. So I have my areas of focus.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. So for those of you who don't know, karma, Jesus, look at me. Chiron deals with healing. What's happening? Traumas, healing, where you really need to focus your attention on healing. Chiron, the root of Chiron, Chiro, okay, chiropractor. This is the divine planet of holistic healing and health for all living beings. So
okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Now, Chiron for you, I know you do the planetary alignments. Chiron a thing in that, or?
Yes, 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 absolutely. It is. And it is the only outside factor other than, your planets that we work with.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So if somebody were to come, let's say they're dealing with a physical healing issue, or it can be mental healing issue, or it can be across the lifetimes patterns they're dealing with. This is where we would do the planetary alignment with Chiron. So it's very, very interesting, very beautiful energy. Sometimes when I go to bed, I'll do the session and leave myself on this planet to heal while I'm sleeping. And then when I wake up, bring myself back. It's crazy.
That's good stuff.
Brandy's like, what the hell are you talking about?
I actually know what you're talking about. I've done your planetary sessions, and it does feel like you're kind of leaving the body.
It does. It does.
It's very cool. I live for those sessions. I have not done Chiron though.
Chiron's amazing. It is amazing. It really is.
It is cool. Chiron is, I've heard it described as the wounded healer. It's like,
yep,
where you've had trauma or where you've had to heal in life, and then you're able to take that and help others. It's pretty cool.
Right. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Great. Again, it's under the planetary alignment sessions. It's not really a planet, but it is that important of a piece of the work that I do that it has its own place within this system. So it's very cool. Very cool.
Same thing on an astrology chart. It's not a planet, but it's there on the chart, it's an asteroid, but has a meaning.
Something to look deeper into, right? So it's quite fascinating. I love it.
Fun talk today.
Yes. Did you bring your cards?
I brought so lots of consideration went into this. What deck do I bring? And today I was led to just bring my standard tarot deck. I say standard, but this is what I use for my readings. When you book tarot reading, this is the only deck I read from. So I wanted to bring this today. And look, I love the Queen of Wands on there.
I got this. It's Halloween season, so everything in my life is spooky. I got spooky movies every day. Today
you live for Halloween season.
I live for every day is Halloween in my life, but especially during this time.
And it cracks me up because Halloween is in Scorpio season, which is your opposition. I'm just going to be blunt here. Please don't send me hate mail. I'm not a big fan of Thanksgiving because it's like in Sag season, and it's like when I'm like directly being opposed, and it's like Thanksgiving, it's always a challenging day. It's always like, I hate cinnamon. Cinnamon is in everything around things. Like there's just so many things about it.
I'm a little backwards. And I feel like that's kind of the Capricorn. No, I don't know.
I want to how does this work? I feel like I need to bust out your chart and see what kind of mitigation goes on in Scorpio season for you to not be fully in opposition mode.
I thrive. You know what I kind of wonder if it is? That Capricorn piece and the drive to work. This is transformation season. So it's like I'm going headstrong into transforming all the things and doing all the I don't know. I don't know if
well, this makes sense because you are a Cappy rising, a Cappy moon. It is sextile to Scorpio, which is a beneficial aspect. So maybe that's the mitigation factor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to figure out live on this, video. It's just always like interesting.
Very interesting. It is.
Yes.
It is. I really I feel like I thrive in this season. Like, I don't know. I'm more comfortable in my skin doing all of my weird little things that I do. And it's crazy. I don't get it. But
that's another thing I want to hear in the comments or people's stories on. Like, your opposing season, does it feel really challenging? Or are you like Rena, where it's like, actually, it's not that bad? And so let's run through the opposites really fast. Aries, Libra, vice versa. So if you're Libra, Aries season is oppositional, and vice versa. If you're Aries, Libra season is your opposition. And then you have Taurus, Scorpio. You have Gemini, Sagittarius. You have Cancer, Capricorn, Leo, Aquarius, and Virgo, Pisces. So those are the opposites. Let us know what your opposite season is and how does it generally feel?
So the one I can really like, and I'm not a Cancer or technically a Capricorn, but I'm like, I can see how those two would totally conflict with one another.
That's a big, like some opposites have some things in common. You just have different octaves of it. Like Gemini, Sag, very much some things in common with those signs, but Cancer, Capricorn.
Yeah. Oh, that's
like opposite.
Like drive to do the work and pause, reflect, and introspect. I don't know. You can't do both. I don't know.
But I want to hear, like, how does your oppositional season go for you?
Yep. Tell us. Because like I'll be over here watching the new Unsolved Mysteries while
I heard about that today.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. I'm going to be casting charts because that's just what I do.
Is that something you allow yourself to watch? Like the mysteries and stuff like that? You're talking like you don't really care for fictional stuff.
Oh, no. Like true crime, mysteries with like, I am all into that because I'm pulling the astrology. Like, let's solve this crime. Like, I just feel like I'm that powerful, I guess. But no, I'm totally into that. I love mystery.
Did you watch the new Munsters?
No, but let me tell you why. Because I am such a 60s fan, like everything 60s. I love the music. I love the time period. I don't love like what was going on during that time. Let me be clear, but
right.
I love the old like 60s episodes of the Munsters, and I can't bring myself to like do the new one.
So let me tell you why I love the new Munsters, because I am a huge Munsters fan. Again, Halloween, I live this, I breathe this.
So you like the old school episodes of the Munsters?
I do. Okay. And I love the new Munsters movie. Okay. I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan. I love his work, from Old White Zombie to the new Rob Zombie stuff. The movie is freaking gorgeous. The cinematography, the colors that pop, it is beautiful. There are tons of pieces taken from the old episodes kind of weaved in there, so you get that nostalgic feel. I don't know, I really loved it. I laughed the whole time. It was so much fun to watch. The only thing that kind of threw me off a little bit was we're so used to Herman Munster's voice that now that it's somebody else's voice, but Grandpa's, the Count, Grandpa's voice is so similar. I was like, oh my God, is this the same guy? Of course it's not, but I don't know. I loved it so much that after I watched it on Netflix, I made my husband buy it for me on Blu-ray because I was like, this
Oh,
is
wow.
going straight into my collection. I freaking loved it.
Okay,
So-
I'm sold. I will check it out.
And I've seen it 3 times since it was.
I am going to watch Halloween movies this season, which is like, I'm not real good about. So I will check it out. You have me sold.
It's like a make popcorn. There might be something, like I said, different vibe. You know, you got different actors. Now, something really cool I found after we bought the Blu-ray, we'll go into the making of.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Bulgaria they filmed it, and like the lab where Herman Munster was created was a power plant. And it's amazing. And it was filmed, like the castle parts were filmed at a castle. And I don't know, it's just really kind of cool.
I'm going to check it out.
Elvira's in there.
Elvira's in it?
She is.
I will tell you, I did watch a fictional series on Netflix, and it's so unlike me, but it was so good, and that was Midnight Club.
Oh,
that one's good.
I haven't seen it yet, but it is on my list. I've been so immersed in all of the Halloween movies.
I told Wade, I was like, even though this is fiction, I totally love it. So,
okay. I've heard that won the Guinness Book of World Records for the most jump scares.
I heard that too. I'm curious. I startle very easily.
Was it like, because I do too, but I like that adrenaline rush.
I that's okay. I don't know if it's spoiling by saying that, but like me personally, I did not jump very much.
Okay.
And I startle easily. So I don't know. Yeah, I heard that too. And I was like, well,
interesting.
So let me know.
Okay.
How you responded to it.
I absolutely will. I'll get it watched before our next show.
That's your homework. And I will watch the Munsters and I will report back.
Okay. I'm real curious. I want to hear from you guys too. What did you think of the Munsters? Some people loved it. Some people hated it. I appreciate Rob Zombie's creativity and all the things he does. I'm a big fan. And he's really into the cheesy old, like The Blob and movies like that.
I loved The Blob when I was lit. I loved horror flicks when I was young. I kind of went opposite where I get, freaked out by them now, but
you get too scared. I don't know.
Get scared. I think I don't like the cheese of it. Like it is too science fiction or I don't know. I love the old Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm still a big fan of those.
Oh, Freddy is my favorite. He is my favoriteest.
Yes. I just kind of shifted more into true crime. Like, what could really happen? That's where I want to know.
Because the world is terrifying.
Terrible. All right. I had 4 cards come out. So I guess I wanted to just draw a card, and I have 4 cards here. So I'm like, do I just pick one or I just give you the whole message?
I got 3. So, my message is really about dealing with regrets. I really feel like it's important to tell you it's not important to look back and focus your attention there. Things will always play out the way they're supposed to, no matter what. Even if you would have made different decisions, you would have still been brought to this point by other actions within the path. So it's all about trust and knowing that you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
I like that. I got 6 of Cups and 2 of Wands here. Try to get it.
Interesting.
Followed by the World and 9 of Swords. So pretty strong message here about going back and getting closure with someone or something. But when you got the 9 of Swords, this is like anxiety and nervousness. Like, oh my God, I can't go back to this, or I shouldn't reach out to this person, or I need to leave the past in the past. Who knows what will happen? But this is just fear and anxiety in itself. You got the world card here showing that this is a great opportunity for closure, for healing, and that it would definitely be well worth going back and accessing that situation to get the closure you need and you want. Kind of specific. It's kind of interesting.
Yes. So do you feel like that's maybe just like reevaluating, or could it possibly mean taking actions to do healing work, or
all of the above? It could be literally, let me reach out to this person I need to get closure with. It could be, let me just reevaluate and really objectively look at my role in this. It could be.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So however that resonates.
Whatever's coming to the brain.
That's right.
Definitely. All right, guys. We will see you next week. So I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Be sure to find Brandy at brandyburrowastrology.com. Brandy, tell them what you do real quick in case somebody's looking for some awesome stuff.
Do a little of everything. So I do astrology readings, full natal readings, or transits. How are the planets affecting you for the next year? I do tarot readings for decisions, situations, general readings. I also do palmistry readings too. So if you want just a fun reading just to see, hey, what's this about? This is a great reading to do for entertainment with some really good information.
Definitely.
And Rena, tell them where to find you.
I am at
it. There we go.
There you go. HolisticHealingTherapeutics.com. Awesome.
And tell them what you do. You do a little of everything too.
I do planetary alignment sessions, spiritual alchemy sessions, both the planetary alignment sessions and the spiritual alchemy. It's kind of like an Akashic Records reading with a really interesting healing piece weaved into there. And I work with colors. So it's quite incredible. I do dowsing and geomancy, so curing energetic disturbances in your homes, your offices, and your properties so that you can align better with health, wellness, success, and happiness. I do tarot readings, and I recently put up mediumship readings, which are something I've done for a long time, but I haven't ever had it on my website. So here you go.
You better take advantage of Rena's mediumship readings.
Do it.
Good stuff.
Awesome. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Have a wonderful week ahead, and let us know what you think about all the fun things we talked about today. We'll see you later.